Hello and welcome to PFF Fantasy Football Podcast, Football Guys Players Championship Stream Edition. I'm your host, Ian Hartitz, joined as always by the one, the only Dwain "The Rock" McFarland. Dwain, second time we've done one of these. We are picking from the 8th spot, Thin Mints Riot, team name, stand up, and our draft just about to begin. Awesome start, Ian. How are you, Dwain?
I am doing great, man. I appreciate that awesome start by you. We have podcasted for about 3 hours today, so people probably have to excuse us mumbling around, and I've definitely got a beer going, so there's that.
I got some sheesh, Pinot Noir, cheap variety. Got my Cardale Jones National Championship jersey on. I am pulling out all the stops to get us that 500K, Dwain. For those that didn't tune into the first one, Dwain, do you want to explain just some of the normal rules for the Football Guys Players Championship?
Yeah, so it's a very interesting league because you start one quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, 1 tight end, but then you get 2 flex spots. So not like what you're used to where you have to start 3 wide receivers. That changes the dynamics. The other component that comes, it's full PPR, but 1.5 points for tight ends. So that means tight ends are actually in the conversation as really good potential flex options. Obviously, you're looking for talent, not just guys to take just because to take. We've covered that enough here. We won't mention the name that we're going to pass in round 5. But anyway, I love it, man, just because there's so much flexibility in how you can think about building your rosters. You don't have to be, really stuck into one way. And these guys have always treated me great over at the FFPC. So happy to be doing some of these and trying to put the good word out there about the FFPC.
Now 3 picks away. It looks like we're going to have our pick between Cooper Kupp, Jamar Chase, and Dalvin Cook. Who is that the order that you want there, Dwayne?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to, folks are probably looking at our queue, and Ian's already been jacking around with me. He's got Derrick Henry at the top, so
I just wanted to get you angry, but I recognize that.
Hey, I will tell you what, man. I've been studying these old dudes, and I'm starting to worry I've over counted. Some of these more recent years where running backs, now they got to get their next contract, right? They can't be some dude that's going to be cut. But I'll be honest, I would rather take Derrick Henry than Najee Harris, just because I feel like Derrick Henry's got a bigger chance, Ian, of, oh my God, like I could look up after week 6 and Ian's going to, if we go back like probably 3 months ago when Ian said he was going to punch me in the face and break my glasses on the podcast, like I think Derrick Henry could be the reason. You could be like, dude, like, come on, man, he's scoring like 24 points a game. And so
I do believe I read
totally
something. He has 5 screws in his foot right now, I think was what I read today. Yeah. That part, not ideal.
Yeah, not so great for a big dude.
Yes. I'm not a doctor, Dwayne, but it just doesn't sound ideal. I prefer 0 screws in my fantasy running back's feet, if possible.
And we get Jamar Chase again, dude. We got him at 10 the other night. He normally goes at 6. Now we're getting him at 8. Are you locked in? You ready?
Yeah, let's do Jamar Chase. I mean,
boom.
I think I could talk you into Derrick Henry at some point, but not at 110 when Jamar Chase just keeps on coming back.
The thing with Henry, knowing how these drafts work, we've seen him fall into round 2 multiple times. So my thought is on Henry, if we're sitting at like, you and I have talked about doing, 12 of these or whatever and doing a main event, something like that together. If we get towards the end and we have 0 Henry exposure, then we feel like we need to take him at like pick 9. We can, but let's see if maybe we can get our exposure at a discount.
That's what I'm thinking. And it usually seems to be there with Derrick Henry. I mean, you said you were in one earlier this offseason. He went in the middle of round 2.
Yeah. Now that was the hard way draft where you have a lot of grizzled veterans that like to play this game. And so it's like an expert draft where everybody's going to make their stand, and everybody just made their stand. But I'll tell you, I wouldn't care if I'm in an expert draft. You give me Derrick Henry at 2.6 or 2.7. Yes, please, is all I have to say.
And that's where a lot of my root annoyance with the idea that you really ever fade players. Again, we're fading the ADP. It's not the player. But Dwayne, you're about to dive headfirst into that controversy, writing an article about your primary fades, or just, again, not fades, guys that you have ranked lower enough than ADP and consensus that you fully realize that you're not going to have that high of exposure to them, and you are okay with it. But that, I don't know if you put that sentence I just said in an article title, if it would, roll off the tongue quite the same way.
I'm probably going to just go ahead and send the editor a note to retitle it right now. So I don't know what you said, but I'll just a bunch of words.
But that's what it comes down to. Someone's just gonna be like, how could you possibly fade Nick Chubb? And it's like, no, you're not fading Nick Chubb,
I have freaking
the person.
Josh Allen on the list.
Yeah.
I'm going to
right?
get roasted. But
You're
it's
fading
because
third round Josh Allen.
exactly. I'm fading late second, early third round Josh Allen because I would rather have the running back or receiver I can get there and still get fifth to sixth round Kyler Murray or Jalen Hurts. So that's the difference. So what are you thinking here, Ian?
Problems here.
Coming back our way, we saw Mark Andrews go auto pick to pick 11. Stephon Diggs peeled off. Travis Kelce's. We have two tight ends go after us. There goes Darren Waller at the turn. Obviously, we just talked about him. We would have taken that exposure in the second round. Not going to be there. I've got right now CeeDee Lamb, DeAndre Swift, and Saquon Barkley in the queue. And again, some of this is based on the way ADP works out. You have Leonard Fournette, I think, slightly ahead of Barkley. I have Barkley slightly ahead, but you can get Fournette later in these drafts. And sometimes the whole Fat Lenny thing goes nuts. Oh, look at this. We've got, and this is what happens in the FFPC. And this is why one of the things I love about it. You have Team 11, Ian, go with Andrews and Kyle Pitts. So he's not just auto drafting. He is auto drafting, but he's got his queue set up, and he wanted to go after the two tight ends. And again, that's one of the cool things I like. There's so many different ways that you can go over here at the FFPC.
Also, just for your board, Najee is already off.
Okay, yep. And DeAndre Swift is off now. Got him. So we're next. I've got Lamb and Barkley in the queue.
I want CeeDee if he's there.
Okay. I'm actually good with that. If CeeDee Lamb goes, are you cool with Barkley?
Yeah, those are two. I'm cool
so
with
that. We'll go ahead and take Lamb. We've already pulled We've pulled this off once, right? So I like this because last time we started with Jamar Chase and we got really lucky and Stephon Diggs came back.
Pretty close though.
Yeah. And so, well, dude, we just get we get a slightly different start here. We get Chase at a value and now we pair him with Lamb instead of Diggs, and just weird stuff happens, right? We don't know. Somebody gets hurt. So I love this.
Do you think Saquon will be going at the turn by the time, like August 31st?
Yeah. So we're going to need to get some of him in the second round before that gets here. But I love CD and like on tiebreakers like this, if I'm drafting with somebody, I'm fine. Like, okay, fine. Let's take CeeDee Lamb. And here's the other thing is like, we've talked about this coming back in the third round. We should have a few options. We'll see. The scary part can be if Etienne, Kamara, Connor all go, do you want to take Breece Hall in the third? I think not. That means something fell to us, and maybe we get Breece Hall in the fourth. But if you let Breece Hall go by, and it's 8 picks, we're 9 picks away once we let Breece Hall go by. If he's gone, we're basically saying we're 0 RB. But there are worse things in life. I think this year you can build 0 RB this year, man. We've talked about it. There's a lot of flexibility in the way you can build out rosters. We've talked about 3 RB builds. I'm sure we'll do some of those. But
I'm just laughing at I'm laughing at the idea of like, look, remember our taxes in 2017? Remember when we lost the house in 2008? There are worse things than this 0 RB build we are about to embrace. With CD, man, you could have 200 freaking targets, Dwain. I understand that the past editions of the Cowboys offense have spread things around, but they've had a lot of good players at a lot of different positions. I mean, when you start looking at that depth chart, it is just so soft. Even if they have Will Fuller or one of these guys, it's not going to change even a little bit of what we think about CeeDee Lamb. It'll change Jalen Tolbert a little bit, but CeeDee Lamb, man, just completely locked in. And I wouldn't put it past Kellen Moore to just design the shit out of some touches for him. I mean, we already saw them use CeeDee as a running back for a decent handful of snaps throughout the season. Not as much when he came back from getting banged up a little bit, but there's a lot of things he can do out there. And to me, the most impressive part of watching his game evolve from year 1 to year 2 was him putting on he's still a small guy, but he put on a little bit of weight, enough so that he did actually look like the kind of beast that we expect him to be after the catch. If he takes another step in year 3, they're already giving him just kind of like workload days off, like just to be careful for no reason at all, man. Like this could be 10 plus targets a week, no questions asked.
Yeah. I think that's where we're at. So that's why I love getting Lamb there, and super young player, ascending talent. I mean, dude, it just rings. It just flows right off the tongue. Jamar Chase and CeeDee Lamb. It makes me freaking smile. So So we've got several teams going RB here, coming back down after we take CeeDee Lamb. Deebo Samuel goes to pick 7. That's a Dalvin Cook Deebo start. Then you get Cooper Kupp. Team nails Barkley with it. That's a nice value. Getting Cooper Kupp at pick 6 and then getting Barkley to come back because Barkley has risen up the board. It's tougher to make that pair now.
It's a good start.
Najee Harris, pick 5, gets Aaron Jones coming back. So that's a double RB team. Next team, also a double RB team. Austin Eckler with Leonard Fournette. Then we have a Justin Jefferson, Javonte Williams from the 3-hole. Then the 2-hole, Christian McCaffrey and Alvin Kamara. I guess people, we'll see what happens here with Kamara. But I think the news today was encouraging overall, or the news yesterday was encouraging overall. And I think people are probably going to get a little bit more bullish on Kamara. And then you have Tyreek Hill and T. Higgins go to the player at pick 1 to go with JT.
I mean,
Kamara.
Every team looks great so far. We've only had 25 guys off the board. It's when team 1 doesn't take a freaking tight end until round 20 or whatever the hell is going to happen out of that spot this time around. That was quite the opening stream for this.
We talked about teams with the RB build is like the main thing you notice right away. But these teams here are now letting off a little bit, and they're coming back with receivers. 3rd round, we've had Higgins, Evans, Pittman, and Allen go.
We talked about Kamara on our NFC training camp pod, which will be out Wednesday night, which I believe is when this podcast is out. So go give that a listen afterwards. But moving him up, he's still going to be at a decent enough, like Dwain, he's still going to be available in a lot of round 3s. I know he went at the end of round 2 in this one, but he's still a guy that's going to be priced around the RB1 borderline, but we know he's going to be top 6 probably every single week that we know he's playing once the season actually starts.
Exactly. So it's back to us. We have our choice here. ETN is the tougher player to get. I'd like to do ETN again, Ian, if you're good. Since we went Lamb over Barkley,
yes.
Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, and ETN. I know we could probably have a real conversation right here about James Conner, which I think would be valid. My thought is Conner, for whatever reason, people have been, he just went right in front of us, so it doesn't matter. We just get ETN.
ETN. Yep. We need a running back now. If we don't go ETN again, it's going to get potentially.
Well, we're taking advantage, scary. Honestly, of, ETN is just a little bit cheaper than he was a week ago. And getting to start with the Chase-Lamb-Etienne. Last time it was Chase plus Stephon Diggs and Etienne. And I mean, if you want to talk people through the profile, I think they've heard me talk about Travis Etienne enough, so I'll leave it to you, Ian.
Look, even the beat writers are saying, like, yeah, James Robinson's going to be involved. We all know that. Look at every single backfield in the NFL, save for like 4. There's multiple running backs involved all the time. As long as Etienne is getting all that pass down work, which it sure looks like he is, man. And it is one of these things too, where we're not going off of him having a good camp off of like one stray tweet from here. Every single word out of Jaguars camp is that he looks like the most explosive player. So that just tells me that he's at least back from his foot injury and playing at a high level without cause for concern there. So for me, Etienne, it's another guy that, man, based on that week 1 workload, and I guess you could say it's true for a lot of these running backs, particularly in the first 4 or 5 rounds. But come on, man, we see ETN rip off like 7 targets in week 1 with 10 or 12 carries. Like he's going to be right next to DeAndre Swift sooner rather than later.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that's what we're looking at. No matter what, I mean, you and I are already counting James Robinson as being part of the early down work, and we still have ETN ranked where we do, which is really close to each other. We're within like 1 or 2 spots. We have him in a similar tier. And I think, again, the best summary I've heard, like you just nailed earlier in the season, or earlier in the off season, it's just like, hey, this is DeAndre Swift from last year, and you're getting them in the 3rd round. So it's hard for me to not want to go, with ETN. And that's without even talking about the potential upside if for some reason James Robinson just isn't what he was, or ETN just goes off, or Robinson suffers a setback. There's a lot of outs for ETN to even smash what we think is already a value where we're getting him right now.
This is madness though, man. Robinson just tore his freaking Achilles in December, and he's going to take the first snap of the season. I mean, it's great. I wish injuries didn't exist. Turn them off, God. What are you waiting for? But it's between all the ACL guys avoiding the pup, okay, Michael Gallup, not every single one. Jameson Williams, still some injured guys out there, but having Godwin just seemingly smack his recovery time, all the Achilles stuff, guys coming back the next season. what you were saying before about, there being maybe a better track record of older players smashing than we gave it credit for. I mean, that's something that I wouldn't be surprised just continues to kind of trend in a good direction as we move on, man. 35-year-olds in 2022 aren't nearly as old as 35-year-olds from 2000.
Yeah, for sure. And so we're now one pick away, Ian. We've got Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, Travis Etienne. I have over in the queue. After we picked, Darren Waller went off the board, A.J. Brown, DJ Moore, David Montgomery, Mike Williams, Josh Allen, and now Cam Akers. And so our question here is, do we want to go ahead and peel off George Kittle again? I know we both love him. It is tight end premium. He could still save the planet if aliens arrive tomorrow. Or do you want to go with one of the receivers like Cortland Sutton? Technically, Kittle is also the best value right now based on ADP where we're picking.
Kittle.
Okay, let's do it. I'm with you.
We're just gonna build the same damn team, but CeeDee Lamb
with
instead of
CeeDee Lamb.
I mean, come
on.
Like,
we're just setting people up for later. People are gonna think they got to read, and they don't. Ian, we'll zig later. I know it looks a lot similar, but my thought process doesn't change around this build. Getting the two elite receivers coming back and grabbing the elite passing down back and an offense that's going to trail all the time, and then securing an elite tight end. Like, basically we're balanced enough that we can handle anything in this draft. And look, again, as soon as we go, who goes? As soon as
here comes the tight end run. Here comes the tight end run again.
Dalton Schultz.
Well, Dwayne, last time what we pick 109?
110.
110. Okay, so we're 2 spots away. So it's not that wild that we're having an awfully similar start. But guess what? I love it again. I loved it the first time. Here we are a week or two later, Dwayne. I love it again. We will not be taking Russell Gage in the top 7 rounds. I will tell you that much. Still getting some good words out of camp, though. Like, I do wonder if there could be a point where Russell Gage becomes underrated in this whole equation.
I think he will.
Yeah, they still gave him a lot of money, and I don't really care that Todd Bowles says he's been uncoverable in camp. But like, Dwayne, when we were hyping up Russell Gage before Julio got added, and more importantly, before we just kind of found out that Chris Godwin's going to seemingly be back sooner rather than later. I mean, you talked about Gage and the difference between him and guys like Lazard and MVS, where Gage actually had some of the underlying PFF receiving grade numbers and those metrics we really like of a much better receiver. And like, man, you're going to catch passes from Tom freaking Brady. It can't get that bad for him.
Right, exactly. And so Gage is a player that honestly, yeah, we don't have to take him where we did last time, but I still think he has a similar range of outcomes. I mean, Julio Jones, after doing more research on some of these players when they're older now, he hasn't been able to stay healthy. He could create a situation where we don't get the amount of routes that we want, right? So early on, maybe Julio's just spelling Chris Godwin in the season, but then if he flashes and does well, and let's say they're all playing well, and then when Chris Godwin's fully healthy, it could be just enough that we don't get Gage at like to a 70% route participation number, and he could be stuck more at like a 60%er. And he could still kind of come through on that because it is a heavy passing offense with Tom Brady. So all 60% route participations are not created equally. So I would say that it's more like a 70%er on the Jets, right? If you get to be 60%er on the Bucks. But yeah, I still want to get my exposure to Russell Gage, and I think getting him at the discount that we're going to see, I'm still on board.
Marquise Brown off the board as the wide receiver, 16. Good example in case you're as in the weeds with some of this, daily news as Dwayne and I are, where Marquise Brown with the hamstring and the ankle stuff, like it's just going to be nothing other than a footnote. Now, basically, he's back. He's fine. He's off the NFI list. He's like, hey, we need to monitor every injury, but make sure you're not overly adjusting, the ranks because of some of this. Remember, it is August 2nd after all. Even some of the injury stuff, like, yeah, when we get word on it, actually how severe something is, that's a little bit different. But when Cliff Kingsbury says, like, yeah, it's not a big deal, instead of being like, well, for a speedy receiver, a soft tissue injury isn't what you want, maybe just chill a little bit. Take advantage of the drops if they happen. That was not the case here. Dwayne, I'll be interested to see where Jerry Jeudy is going now. Cortland Sutton's off the board, wide receiver 18. We talked about it today. We're not really changing our rank on Cortland Sutton. Jeudy will be getting a bump. My question is, how high? Is he going to start going, inside the top 20 or more so, 20 to 24 range? The latter is certainly where I prefer to take him.
Yeah, I'm with you. That the latter is where I prefer. I'm very interested to see what happens with him in this draft because it's kind of our first data point. I looked earlier to see if there had been a draft. If there was, it hasn't been published yet by Fantasy Mojo, like since the news. So I don't know, like in the couple of drafts maybe that happened before we drafted tonight, like what's happened with Judy, but I definitely have him over in the queue.
About to say, I'm a Judy guy now. This is awesome. This is so much more fun.
It.
So much more fun than
life's more
going
fun
against
now.
a player.
There he goes at the turn. Jerry Judy off the board.
Wide receiver 20. See, that's where it gets tough. That is where we looked at and we said, hey, right there is about where it could make sense. The KJ Hamler health thing, just like Chris Godwin, he's off the pup. What does that mean exactly? Because Dwayne, the Hamler thing, now we can call him Tim Patrick. Why can't KJ Hamler steal the number 2 job away from Jerry Judy potentially? So,
well, and we've seen Russell Wilson really gel with a similar archetype player. And again, archetype, folks, don't get us wrong and think that we're claiming that KJ Hamler is going to be Tyler Lockett, because Tyler Lockett's been really good. But it is a similar type player, right? Smaller, faster receiver, going to get to play from the slot. Russ loves to get those guys in mismatches in zone coverage where they just quickly get over the top, of the linebackers. And then based on the way they've got the play set up, it's this long, deep crosser where they're running away basically from the safety over the top. And Russ just has such an ability, man, to honestly just drop those things in like a rainbow.
Just chucks
other
the ball.
Quarterbacks don't have it, and it negates the size challenge for Lockett. The way that Russell Wilson throws the ball, you get the same thing with Hamler potentially.
I feel like Russ's time from throwing the ball to it leaving your TV screen is just the fastest of any quarterback in the league. It's wild. It goes up at like a 90-degree angle, and then it's 60 yards downfield, falling right into the dude's lap. As a boss man, Chris Collinsworth dubbed them, the moon balls are always out and about. I'm sure going to look extra pretty in those Broncos orange uniforms. Dwayne, did you like or did you not like Russell Wilson showing up to camp in his own uniform? I'm going to say... I'm going to say no. I'm going to give it a thumbs down.
Really? No, I'm fine with it. I love the story about him jumping on the injury cart today and telling Tim Patrick, let's ride.
Oh my God. Did he really? Stop it.
Yeah, he did. So I don't know what's going on, but this is the second draft in a row where I've seen Jalen Waddle slide into the 5th round. I got him in the 5th. I got him actually at round 5, pick 3, just making sure he is still available, right? Yep. He's in my queue. Yeah, so that's interesting. So we want it. So coming back to us, we're off of running back. We do not want running backs in this range. It's a dead zone. It's a little early for quarterback over here. If we needed to, I think quarterback's an option in round 6, but I don't mind pushing it to round 7. Remember, we got Lamar Jackson in round 7 last draft. So there's a good shot at a minimum we come away with, one of the guys we like, Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts. And now just having Trey Lance as the backup, also the potential option there later with Deshaun Watson. I don't want to reach too far. So I'm really thinking receiver here. I've got the queue filled up. And so if you want to give me some thoughts on what your thought process is here on who I have in the queue, or if there's anyone else, you tell me, hey, dumbass, they need to be in the queue.
I want Godwin if he falls to us.
I agree. Yeah.
After Godwin.
Well, Michael Thomas is available too. We could honestly turn Godwin and Michael Thomas potentially, because Thomas is still further down this list.
Yeah. No, I like that call. Absolutely.
So I'm going to move, and I'm not going to be 100% against DK Metcalf. So
hey,
if Metcalf gets here.
Hold on. Gabe Davis still available?
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. He's over there. And look, Gabe Davis isn't a guy we want to reach on, but yeah, if everybody's just going to fade him at this price,
hand him to us. That's what I'm saying, at this price. And then we'll get Godwin or Michael Thomas on the wraparound. Oh, he just went.
Okay. So there goes Gabe Davis.
About time.
All right. So we have our pick here. We've got Amon-Ra.
Who do you think makes it back to us between Godwin and Thomas?
Well, looking over at the queue, I think all we need to know is one of them comes back. So I'm wondering if we just take Amon-Ra here, because we know we do have a potential injury risk with both of those other players. Do we go ahead and grab Amon-Ra, get the Sun God on the team, and then
who cares? First or last? We already have Chase and CD.
But we love Amon-Ra as well.
I know, but I love Michael
I've got
Amon-Ra
ranked
more.
It's fine. Do you want to go Godwin here?
I would like to go
I'm just trying to give us a chance to get both. All right. So we'll go ahead and take Godwin here. Is that what you want?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, we'll do it.
I like Amon-Ra too. We talked about like Michael Thomas. I don't know what more evidence we need at this point that the guy's healthy. And Chris Godwin, he's off the pup, man.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I have to be talked off of Amon-Ra. You know this. Like the only way I won't select him is if you scream at me.
You literally have him a tier beneath these guys.
I know, but I'm telling you, I love him.
Oh my!
And I'm also drafting off this queue. I know what these guys behind me are doing. So it's like I'm always trying to say, how do I get two? How do I get two?
Yeah.
How do I get two of them? But it's okay because I know that now Amon-Ra goes for sure. If you leave both Michael Thomas and Chris Godwin, there's a chance one comes back, and we get a curveball right there. Justin Herbert, that's late for him, but Lamar Jackson goes off the board in round 5. He's normally a round 7 pick over here.
Mm-hmm.
And then now Dallas Goedert quickly off the board, a player that we like and we've talked about. That
Amon-Ra is gone.
Yeah, well, you knew that's what I mean. You know it's going to happen.
I say we get Michael Thomas, and if not, we look at AJ Dillon or a quarterback. I'm down to let you pick.
No, I think it's receiver here.
If we can get Michael Thomas.
Yeah, if Michael Thomas goes, you could go ahead and talk me into Kyler here. He's our QB too in both of our damn ranks. He's got to be on a damn team with us. I know that it could slide a little bit, but man, having Trey Lance as the backup plan just kind of changes things, don't you think? It just makes you a little bit less like feeling like you got to do it. But if Michael Thomas goes, I'm willing, because it would really suck if all of a sudden all those quarterbacks went. Because honestly, there's a tier break here, at receiver, at running. We don't want the running backs. We're still off that. If we were to want a tight end, it would have been Goddard. He's gone. There goes Amari Cooper. So we're up next. We just got to avoid one pick here. If Thomas goes, I think it is Kyler Murray.
I agree.
Okay. Because it's still the tier break, man. Like, so why reach? Even though we know we might get Trey Lance coming back to us, we'll get to do that later. If Thomas is here, I think you just got to go with it. And I think he's going to be, because he's still too low on this board. But having said that, like someone will.
I do like
Darnell Mooney never falls this far, but the problem is I think we both have Michael Thomas well ahead of Darnell Mooney.
I do. Oh yeah, we do. So Michael Thomas, if he's there, I'm still going to get a lot of AJ Dillon exposure, but man, Michael Thomas for me over AJ Dillon, and then we can get someone like a James Cook or a Cordero Patterson a couple rounds later, and I think that's going to far surpass the wide receivers we're looking at that point.
I agree. And so it's going to get a little tight on us. So there goes Antonio Gibson. I'm taking Michael Thomas.
Let's go.
Going twice on the team. We now have 4 wide receivers. If you want to kind of let folks know what we got here, Ian.
Starting off first 6 rounds, Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, Chris Godwin, and Michael Thomas filling out the wide receiver room. Hey, those are 4 guys where, Dwayne, if they finish 1, 2, 3, 4, not saying it's going to happen, but they have that in their potential range of outcomes if everything is clicking for them. Also got George Kittle, who we always like to say the best tight end on this planet as we know it. And for my money's worth, probably the entire universe. Only 1 running back so far, but we do have Travis Etienne, who just seems like he was made in a fantasy football factory, potentially the way that he can just create big plays and catch the ball. Yes, having James Robinson back lowers the ceiling, but that's also why we're able to still get him, outside the top 12, 15 running backs, more drafts than not. So a little bit of I think as the kids will call it, modified 0 RB here, Dwayne. Didn't take our first running back until round 3. But when we can get 2 top 5 wide receivers because of it, I am in 8 days of the week. We did start off our draft very similar to last time, except we took CD over Stephon Diggs. Then we got Travis Etienne, and then we got George Kittle. But, man, I don't know about you, Dwayne, but Etienne and Kittle are like just 2 of my highest exposed players right now, just generally this offseason. So I am fine throwing them back into the mix of things. So I will say, too, I've been doing shout out Underdog for launching the puppy again, just – $5 draft. I mean, my God, man, like there better be a damn good reason for me not to just be drafting all day long when you're going to make them that cheap. So Michael Thomas and Chris Godwin, I feel like people are slow to react to this, man. I've still been able to get both really round 6, round 7 without much of a problem. If we get to week 1 and Schefter's like, yeah, they're fine, these are guys that should arguably be going. In Michael Thomas's case, top 20. In Godwin's case, man, if he's just good, that's a top 10 wide receiver.
Yeah, if all of a sudden we hear Godwin is going to be basically, even though he won't be 100%, but if he's expected the normal number of routes in week 1, oh my God. Hey, look, Pollard mid-6. This is what I mean. It's just crazy with Pollard right now. Pollard now going ahead of A.J. Dillon. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, fine. We're both kind of like, well, whatever, Edwards-Helaire. I don't blame someone for going Pollard there, but it's the 6th round, man. It like there's still just, and I get it. There is a little bit of a tier dip here, so I think you could work it in, but I don't know. It's just it's pretty rich, despite the fact that we all agree that the Cowboys need to figure out ways to get the ball to Pollard more often, especially with the challenges that they have in the receiver core. With the loss of James Washington for the first 6 to 10 weeks, I believe today is what we heard.
It's 6 to 10 weeks from today, I think. So what's that?
Yeah. So yes. So true. So probably more like week 6. I don't even know. You can do the math.
I would guess he'll open up the season on the pup and maybe
there goes Kyler.
Miss another couple games. About time.
People are getting smarter. Still
not going
taking Elijah Mitchell.
End of
but
round
still,
6.
I mean, they're passing Elijah Mitchell and some of these other players for it, which is what you should do.
You still got people taking Tony Pollard before Kyler Murray. Come on, Dwayne.
Yeah, well, I agree with that. I would have taken Tony. I would have taken, honestly, well, I mean, we've already discussed it. If Michael Thomas was gone, we were going Kyler. We would have taken Kyler over anyone else that's gone so far in this round. So, yeah, we're on the same page.
I am hoping that one of Jalen Hurts or Trey Lance falls back to us. Stacking not nearly as essential in redraft as it is for best ball. Regardless, if there was ever a quarterback to really not feel the need to stack, Jalen Hurts, Trey Lance, Lamar Jackson, and Justin Fields are going to be your big 4 from that equation. And again, in best ball, you're probably going to want to stack them anyway, but just because of what they can bring to the table rushing-wise, I do think you see a pretty steep drop off afterwards. I guess Josh Allen too, but man, like that dude's just such a freaking animal. And like, why not get some Isaiah McKenzie exposure at the bottom of these drafts? I'll be interested to see where he goes in this one as well. Because I have
show my screen. Somehow I accidentally just put Alan Lazard in the queue, but it's got mistakes fixed.
Oh my goodness. I don't remember what I was saying.
You would have so screenshotted that shit.
Yeah, that's
and been
true.
like, guys, look who Dwayne's got in the queue.
I
would have. God, like so. There goes Kareem Hunt in the early 7th. So yeah, it's going to get tight here. We need running back and we need a quarterback.
I mean, if Mitchell keeps falling, I'll take him this.
Yeah, I'll take him that late. I got no problem taking him that late.
Good example of not hating the player, just the ADP. Hey, he still projects as the RB1 in San Francisco. We're just thinking that Trey Lance is going to eat into some of those fantasy-friendly goal line opportunities, and I would imagine one of Tyrion Davis-Price, perhaps Trey Sermon, maybe Jeff Wilson, someone eating it more into his carries. I mean, don't forget, man, that running back room last year, like Debo is incredible at what he does. Like they were kind of giving him those carries back even when he was a rookie as well, not to the same extent, but I think a lot of that was the need of having Jeff Wilson coming off IR in the first place and not exactly, tearing it up once he was healthy. JaMychal Hasty was banged up. Trey Sermon was concussed in the doghouse the rest of the time. Like that running back room was just a walking graveyard half the time. So Raheem Mostert took 2 carries. We never got to see what their actual plan was going to be, whether it was going to be the Raheem Mostert show. Maybe it was going to be Mostert and Elijah Mitchell going 50-50. And that's now the plan with him and Tyrion Davis-Price. We don't know, but he got picked. So it's a moot point. Damn it.
But your point stands. It's Haiti. It's being against the ADP, not the player. And also with our build, like if he gets down here and we've got, 4 wide receivers, a running back, and a tight end, like he also just makes sense for the structure of the team. You know what I mean? So the receivers it's interesting here. So I've got several receivers still queued up as well, because basically we've put our chip down and said we're flexing receiver. So honestly, I'm good with taking the best value here. If Jalen Hurts gets here, I think you just make the pick. The only thing is if you look behind us, everyone has a quarterback except one team. And if we let Hurts go by and team 9 takes Hurts, coming back, we get Lance with Kittle.
I like that call. You're smart, man.
So Drake London goes off the board there. I think we grab the running back we want here first.
I say your boy James Cook.
Okay.
I think Cook versus Evans is very close.
like I have Edmonds above, but you will never look. I'm good. Let's make a stand on James Cook. Give me the guy that's the passing down option and a pass heavy offense. And I just want to do victory laps anyway.
It's Bills versus Dolphins offense. Which one do we want? I mean, Edmonds got a decent deal. Cook's a second round pick. Like,
the one thing I'll say, and the thing is here, like, we're not trying to get two of them. Man, this is so late for Adam Thielen. What the hell? What is going on here with Thielen?
People are just bored of him.
Man, that's a good wide receiver 5.
Adam Thielen over James Cook?
Well, I mean, just you don't normally get that, and we've already said we want a flex receiver.
You think Cook?
But it's going to put us in a real bind because coming back, we can't get a quarterback and a running back. So,
I vote James Cook and stick to our quarterback plan.
Okay.
We had chances at running backs earlier, and we took the receiver. I think now on a 50-50 call, we take the running back.
So we just took James Cook with Antonio Gibson, just so folks know how we feel. With Antonio Gibson, Miles Sanders, Kenny Walker, Damian Harris, all still on the board.
Yeah.
But we did it for a reason.
Here we are.
So, and here's the thing, like coming back, we know we want to go ahead and grab the quarterback. Now, the other option there was you just go ahead and take Adam Thielen because it's the value. You take the running back coming back and you let the chips fall where they may at quarterback, knowing your backup plan is Deshaun Watson.
Hey, we just named a bunch of running backs that are in 3+ running back committees. We got the one. We got the one set to catch the most passes and the best offense.
Yes.
Ooh,
but we also
sounded good, man.
It does, but there's an art, so we want to get as many of these good players, as we can. That's the name of the game. Like over the first 8 rounds,
we reached a little bit, but I think under the QB situation we talked through, it was warranted.
Yeah. The one thing you got to look at, those there's so many backs left in the queue that are above the guys we have. Yeah. Now, what it would have meant is you go receiver there, you take whichever back they leave us coming back, and you let the chips fall where they may on, do you get Trey Lance to come back? And then if he doesn't, you pivot, right? And we take probably Justin Fields later and Deshaun Watson back-to-back in round 12 and 13.
Okay.
That would be the plan.
It's a fair point.
I'm just talking it through so people, because this is like people can listen to our draft, but I think it's fun to hear like the thought process. What are the different options how you could have gone?
We're doing 12 of these things. Probably don't need to take the James Cook is better than him. Damn it. We need him on our team type of approach. So from that point, I do hear you.
Well, if there's a player I'm going to do it with, that's it. So,
yeah, I guess
you definitely gave me that. You definitely tempted me with the right player for sure.
I just think with the 4, again, 4 of your top 24 receivers, 4 of my top 20 at this point. I just really think we can.
I know, but there's nothing wrong with reinforcing a really strong spot.
Yeah.
If you know it's what you're going to flex all year, because injuries happen. So you're basically saying we are flexing wide receiver no matter what. And we've got 5 of them, so we've got it locked in. Now we just have to worry about RB2. And it's okay. Let's see what happens here. Oh, and Antonio Gibson was already gone anyway. So I'm an idiot. Okay. I will tell you, my flaw is I usually miss the pick right after my pick the most often. And that's what happened. Gibson had gone or right in front of us, when we took Michael Thomas.
Even though
we're up next, there goes Chase Edmonds.
We thought he was available and we still took James Cook over.
Well, yeah. There goes Joe Burrow.
All right, Jalen Hurts. Okay. Welcome to the squad. PFF projections have Hurts.
Question, do you want to try to let it go if Hurts and Lance are there? Now, the problem is everybody on the other end of us, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams without a quarterback.
It's your call. If not, I want Tony, who you already have in the queue. It's your call. I made the last call.
I think, that's the pick. Is it Tony or is it the quarterback? I think we just go ahead and take Hurts. Yeah.
I would lean Hurts.
All right, let's just get it done. And now what we've said is James Cook, you are the weakest link, but we are giving you a chance to win the whole damn thing. So come on, buddy.
Catch 70 balls. We're going to be in freaking business.
So Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, Travis Etienne, George Kittle, Chris Godwin, Michael Thomas, James Cook, Jalen Hurts. The other argument we could have made for Thielen there is knowing that what if Godwin does start slow? You know what I mean? Like, I think that's and there goes Tony right after us. So
expected.
Yeah. He was the top of the queue.
I still think there's some wide receivers that we can make up some value with. Rondale. Mostly just Rondale. Jalen Tolbert, someone that we're also interested to see how much higher he's going to rise. I think he went round 11. My last underdog draft I was doing. Dude is getting up there a little bit. Basically, the decision we had to make was, were we comfortable going down at quarterback, or were we comfortable going? Yeah, okay. It was going down at quarterback and going down at wide receiver 5. I think I'm fine picking wide receiver 5 in that equation.
Yeah, we're good. I mean, I'm good. Yeah, I think the real test was, do you just take Thielen over Cook? Then you take Cook coming back and just let the chips fall.
I was just about to say we'd be absolutely fine if my guy Cordero Patterson could fall to us and he went off the
He would
board.
have been perfect, honestly, for this team.
Dude, he's like, you read all the Falcons beat writers, like it's just been made clear in the whole team that CPAT he's getting a lot of practice off. He's not going to play in the preseason. Like, he is going to be their starting running back, and they're going to just try to feed him, and just probably his last year in Atlanta. Like, that has just been understood. And I just can't wait for Tyler Algier or Damian Williams or someone to just rip off a big run in preseason game and CPAT to somehow get cheaper. I mean, this is madness, man. Like, the dude is now, like, they paid him. Cordero Patterson, like, even a hater would have to project the guy, I think, for 200 combined carries and targets next season. The guy's now going in RB4 territory.
Ramondre Stevenson just went ahead of Damian Harris.
Yeah, it's you know what? I respect that, though. Like, the way people talk about Ramondre Stevenson, like, good, take him ahead of Damian Harris. Do it. I'm not going to do it, but you can imagine. Damian Harris, we're having Evan Silva on the PFF Fantasy Pod on Thursday. That's 100% got to be one of our questions. I want to hear from him, and I want a better reason. We need to call his ass out. We love Evan. We need to call his ass out if he just says, like, Stevenson's a dog. He's better than Damian Harris. Just trust me. I won't take that. I will not take that. I think
Ian will not accept that answer. You guys heard it here first.
The entire argument is that he gets the full-fledged pass down role, and he has added upside if Damian Harris gets hurt. I can live with that. I will not just hear any more Damian Harris slander for no good reason as a way of putting up Ramondre Stevenson. I've had enough, Dwayne.
Yeah, I look, I get it. I think they're both really good players. That's the way I look at those two. So yeah, it's tough for me to get. I can't get on board with Stevenson in round 8. I'm sorry. It's not interested. Like, round 10, round 11, I'm okay. I'm fine if someone wants to make a stand on it. Like, that's good. And like you said, I can respect it, just like what we did with James Cook. There's respect. What was the old Adam Sandler? Respect. R-E, and the guy spells it wrong.
I'm surprised Trey Lance is still on the board here.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing. Like, and again, you got to look at the queue. A lot of these people are drafting off this queue. And so that was the thing with Lance that, made me think about doing it, is because he's so far down. So it's
I just hope he goes.
Read all the different factors here, Ian.
I hope he goes ahead of us. Are we about to take Damian Harris if he's there?
I mean, at this point, I don't. Jesus, I think we kind of have to, just with our build.
You have your boy Kenny Walker one spot higher.
I know, but I don't think I can do it, just because of all the things we've talked about with the Seahawks offense.
I don't think we can either. I mean,
did Damian Harris die today? Did we miss something while we were in 12 hours of podcast?
Dude, how freaking... If he falls to us, he's going to be pick freaking...
There goes Sky Moore.
Damian Harris falls to us, he's going to be pick like 104. Going 15 spots past ADP. Like, that's what...
I think if Damian Harris gets here at this pick, like, I'm just slamming it.
Yeah, if we have one Damian Harris team and this is it, fine by me.
Yeah, I mean, well, look, you can't argue any of the guys I got in the queue over Harris, like Melvin Gordon, Rashad White, Isaiah Spiller, Ronald Jones, Michael Carter. You can't argue any of those over Damian Harris.
No.
Damian I didn't even freaking put Ken Walker in the queue yet. Sorry, Kenny.
Damon, I keep talking about Cordero Patterson now basically being the cheapest starting running back in all of fantasy. I guess it's Damian Harris, Dwayne.
Yeah, I think it is. I just don't want somebody to auto pick here. I actually it's not something we're gonna get to say in very many drafts. I actually want Damian Harris. What you need to think about though
is what happens if we don't get him.
If we don't get Harris, there goes Damian Pierce. They scared us with a Damian.
Oh, I say Damian Harris or Melvin Gordon.
I got to freaking Google Damian Harris right now because did something just happen and we don't know?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right, I'm going to Twitter. Just gonna make sure.
Okay, I haven't gotten any noties. All right, we're up. Woo!
Does it matter? Are we getting him? Hell yeah, I'll take Damian Harris here. Come on, people.
For some reason on my screen, I guess Nick Chubb was the last player I selected. So it lit up green for draft Nick Chubb, and I just wanted to hit it just in case. A wild Nick Chubb appears. All right.
So Claypool and Ayuk are off the board. I would like Garrett Wilson if he comes back around. I would like to add another upside wide receiver. I know it's a bonus for you that he's from Ohio State. Oh, we could talk. I would be willing to go Olave. I'm kind of leaning Wilson just because we already have Michael Thomas. Although I would be, if for some reason Garrett Wilson went, I would be okay with Chris Olave. We're kind of at the last spot to grab one of these guys and then maybe get Rondell Moore coming back in the next round with where his ADP usually is.
Okay. I like that call.
Unless there's a running back you just really are filling here.
If Melvin falls to us,
I feel like getting Harris allows us basically to do whatever we want here.
Yeah.
And I think receivers where the value, for me, receivers where the value is. I got to catch my board up. Mark Rashad Penny off. He went.
Okay. Melvin Gordon went off the board, so I am more fine than ever going wide receiver here.
Yeah, there's just enough question right now with Rojo. What's his role for sure going to be? You don't want to force anything here.
He could still not make the team.
Right. And I'd be fine. I'll be honest. I'm just as fine, if we get one of these receivers we want here, coming back with Tyrion Davis-Price next round.
I every time I think about drafting Rojo and it's an appropriate time to do it, I probably hit draft half the time. That's kind of how I'm approaching it. I'm not out on it.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
You gotta be balanced though.
I'm not gonna be victory lapping it. I'm not gonna be saying I told you so.
It's not a bad auto draft for the guy that's got his queue set up at pick 11. Mark Andrews, Kyle Pitts, AJ Brown, Mike Williams, Justin Herbert. He's getting value on all this stuff. Now he may be throwing these in. He gets Amon-Ra in round 6. Don't like the Miles Sanders pick, but whatever. It's round 7. Then he takes Allen Lazard round 8. But look, at least it's not round 6, Allen Lazard. Look, if someone wants to take Allen Lazard in round 8, 9, 10, do your thing. Just don't take him in round 6. That's the lesson here. There goes your favorite tight end in the world, Pat Freiermuth. Rashad White also off the board. So they're pinging on this running back queue. I really do feel like Damian Harris gave us some flexibility. He was honestly a gift on this team because if we whiff on James Cook, we at least have an RB2, or we can wait for James Cook to grow into a role. So I think Garrett Wilson is the top pick just because we have Mike Thomas. Yeah. But if
I think that's cool.
Garrett Wilson goes, I'm okay with Olave over Rondell Moore because Rondell Moore's further down the queue and we have a chance to still get him next round. And Olave's at the top.
I mean, we both had Garrett Dynasty wide receiver 1 in this class. We might be on this is going outside the top 50 receivers sometimes.
This is Jalen Waddle territory. We were getting Jalen Waddle last year, and everybody thought, oh my God, there's too many mouths to feed. Oh my God, Tua sucks. What happens? Shit happens. And if you're a talented player, you give yourself outs. And so Chris Olave goes in front of us. You're good with Garrett Wilson, correct?
Yep.
Love it.
Wide receiver 5? Hell yeah.
Yes. And it makes me feel
and Olave went in front of us. So
yes.
Nice.
All right. Love Garrett Wilson at this price tag. That's under, that's about where the receivers go. But at this time last year, I wanted Jalen Waddle and Elijah Moore in rounds 9 and 10. And so this year, Wilson's definitely in that conversation. The way I've been creating some of my builds and even the way you and I have built our teams together, I'm not as on wide receiver in round 9 as I was last year, but the value is still certainly there in round 9s and 10 where you can take some shots on these young guys. A lot of the rosters I built lately, though, I've needed the running back, so it's just been a little bit different. But dude, I love the start. We're through 10 rounds. 5 receivers, 3 running backs, 1 tight end, and an elite quarterback in Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts as the QB, RB1, Travis Etienne, RB2, James Cook. Don't tell it to Jamin Harris, though, our RB3, Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, Chris Godwin, Michael Thomas, and Garrett Wilson. Sounds like 5 dogs to me, Dwayne. And of course, 1 George Kittle chilling there at tight end. Should we have gone more in on the potential Trey Lance strategy that, for the record, wouldn't have worked anyway? He went before our next pick, but knowing that we had the George Kittle stack and redraft is stacking only something that you're going to consider like a 50-50 that pick? Like, are you even?
I think it still matters in this format. So for people to, just so you understand, like the way it works, we over weeks 15, 16, and 17, because there's now 18 weeks in the NFL season. Over those weeks, there is a race for the $500,000 first prize for all of the teams that either win their league or lead their league in points or lead their league in record. Now, sometimes those things cancel one another out, right? So once you get into the race, having those kind of stacks is still really good. So, I mean, I've had multiple top 5 finishes over here, and I will tell you 2 out of my 3 top 5 finishes have had a stack. So back in the day, I had one that was from further along ago. Like I had Peyton Manning with Demaryius Thomas and with Julius Thomas. So that double stack, like that shot me way up in the last week one year. That was also the year Jamal Charles just went completely freaking ham. Honestly, like those 4 players alone, like shot me to the top of leaderboards. So it can still come in handy. It's not quite as crucial as what we see with best ball, because also you can continue to work your roster here, right? Yep. So where it's different, Ian, is you want to stack your really good players, where in best ball, you're like, well, I'll take so-and-so because they're a stack. I'll take, I've got, like for our team, I've got Jalen Hurts. So somebody might say, give me Quez Watkins or something like that with your last pick. You're never going to start that person if you're in week 17 of this contest. So it's not, that's where it's different than best ball. You're really trying to stack the premium players together. So if we want to stack with Jalen Hurts, right, we really want it to be one of his 3 weapons. We're not really messing with anything else. You could throw Gainwell in there, just because he goes later and if things work out and all this stuff. But you're going to know whether or not that's something you want to do.
I mean, I'll be honest. I just looked up Chigozie Okonkwo. You have him actually ranked?
Yeah, the tight end for Tennessee.
The tight end 3 for Tennessee?
Yeah, but I just have him really low down there because, like, look, and that's in tier 3A. Like, list the names down there are Cade Otton, Mo Alley Cox. And I put those down there because people that draft best ball are looking at our stuff. Okay. And so they're really down there for best ball purposes. Although you could say in a tight end premium, there's worse things than spending a last pick on a potential upside tight end.
On who?
He's just an athlete.
On who?
And on an upside tight end.
What's his name?
Chigozie Okonkwo.
Thank you. I'm excited.
I don't know if I said that right. I'm pretty sure I got the last name right.
I thought our new policy was if we don't know a last name, you just say
this is Okwabunum. I'm sorry. Yeah. Damn it. I totally missed that. Complete boomer move.
Rondale and Dotson, one after another. These people have been listening to PFF Fantasy Football Podcast a little bit too much.
We grabbed a receiver.
You're damn right. If Ronald Jones slips, that's probably asking.
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
Hold on,
dude. I'm loving the running backs they're letting fall to us here.
Yeah. Okay. This is nice.
And we need them.
I think the RB4 range, like you feel better about the RB4 range almost than you do about the RB3 range, especially after putting in the ADP involved with it.
Yes. Yep.
Does Sean McVay's quote make you want to bump Darrell Henderson to the top of this tier?
Potentially. Honestly, these guys, it's such a tier for me that it's like, I don't, even though they're ranked this way, I honestly just prefer Spiller, Henderson, and some of the other guys and Ronald Jones because they go so much later. Like you still have to spend a premium pick on Melvin Gordon. You have to tonight. Ramondre Stevenson was still pretty much a premium pick.
Yeah.
So it's I don't want to. I think he probably fits where he's at just because like I also don't want to make people reach for him. It's like, hey, he is one of the ones you can actually get a value on at ADP, and there he goes because we talked about him. That's okay. We still got a few guys still standing here in the running back queue.
Oh, there, yeah, and Jalen Torbert. Oh well, Yeah. Hey, at least he got sniped regularly. I mean, I love all you listeners out there. We will be going live a lot more often when the season starts, but like, I'm not going to have our strategy outdone by some freaking hater out there who's just taking our league from us. Hey, Dwayne, I saw someone, for those of you that tuned into our first one, again, we were making fun of Team One a lot. I saw someone theorize in the comments that someone might have almost made like a dummy account and they basically had two teams in that league and they just tanked one of the teams. Do you think that's possible?
FFPC keeps a pretty tight rein on that, on collusion. That drafter actually has done that multiple times. That drafter also did it multiple times last year, had a couple teams make it in the top 50. So I think it's more of, it's probably someone just pressing this. They feel like, look, if they can by some chance through the 7 or 8 running backs they pick, end up with 4 running backs playing every week that are like every down guys. And, you know, they may not be the same every week. You got your 2 that you take early, and then you got 6 other guys that you're basically picking 2 from. Man, these people are pounding these backs. We got 1 pick away, and I want Ronald Jones here. If Ronald Jones is gone, you want to just go ahead and take Tyrion Davis-Price?
Yes.
Because I know you're high, and I got Kenneth Gainwell technically just slightly above him because of the passing down role, but I like Tyrion Davis-Price better for the upside.
God, you know, fantasy football loves a second.
So you want Ronald Jones here, right?
Yep.
All right.
Fantasy football loves a second-year day 3 running back. I'll tell you that much, Dwayne. I think Gainwell's fine, but I just
I'm with you. Like, and coming back, I'm fine with Tyrion Davis-Price. Irv Smith is falling because of the news on the thumb.
We'll see how far he falls.
I don't mind taking him. I also kind of just like wouldn't mind seeing like how far does he go, but we don't have to have that to know.
We don't even need
like
I know it's tight end premium, but we don't. If we just have Kittle, I mean, I'd rather.
Yeah, I don't mind having a second tight end though and tight end premium because remember, if you hit, they can flex. So it gives you another flex option. They are not a backup here. So if Irv Smith hits, then it's like, holy crap, he could be challenging one of our wide receivers for the second flex spot. So that's the big difference.
Is Albert O the actual winner of the Tim Patrick news? I've seen some actual, and I would never bring this to you, Dwayne. Come on, maybe I do as a joke, but I've seen some actual many Greg Dulcich touts on the old Twitter sphere today. Like, for the love of God, no. It is interesting, man. Albert O.
Well, there's some really smart people that like Dulcich. So, like, you know, I mentioned we're in some of these chats with other analysts. Anthony Amico is someone that I really respect his game. He loves Dulcich. So he's at least given me, made me open my eyes a little more, you know, to Dulcich. But still a 3rd round pick that's at the tight end that we're expecting like to do a lot. I don't see him overtaking Alberto. I see him. I see like could he garner a role? Right. That's really all we're wondering is can he have a role?
Yeah, there's a lot of these guys where it's not about them. It's about are they going to take enough of the opportunity to mess up the guy that we're actually concerned about. So I just wonder with Alberto, like, look, you're replacing Tim Patrick, a great beast of a contested catch artist receiver, basically, with KJ Hamler, who wants to run by guys. But I just think that Russell Wilson gets down the red zone now more than ever. Your freaking monster tight end that can run a 4.5, looking more and more good. Is one Tim did Tim Patrick have to die, Dwayne, so I could become a Jerry Jeudy and an Albert O guy? Like, is that the?
I think it was the sacrifice of the fantasy gods.
It sucks so bad, man. And
it does.
Like, we're about to have this happen here too, where like you just see him resting at the top of the player list for so long until someone gets auto drafted him, and it's just like an extra little knife twist in you. Dwayne and I were talking before our last podcast, both of us over 20% underdog exposure to Mr. Tim Patrick. The process is right. Quick.
Yeah,
the process was right.
So here's my thought process right now. I think it's Irv Smith, Tyrion Davis-Price, or Albert O here. Unless there's something you see that I'm not seeing. And here's the thing. Like, I feel like the upside that Irv Smith and Albert O have as tight ends, those are the two that if we're going to take another one, we take them now. If not, we're probably not taking another tight end. We don't have to, right? Because over here, like, dude, I don't want to start, Brevin Jordan fine in a best ball.
Someone just took a kicker.
Oh, sweet. And there goes Kenny Galladay.
This is why you like having kickers in your league.
Yes.
This is the only good reason to have kickers.
So your
I'm cool with
thoughts
that.
there.
I'm. Those are the clear.
Is Jacoby Myers still there too, or did I miss him? Did I miss him getting drafted? Look over on wide receiver. No, he's gone. He's got to be gone.
Jacoby Myers.
He has to be gone. Like he would be further up this queue.
Yeah, he's gone. He's gone
somewhere. Okay, yeah.
All right.
Just want to make sure of that, because that would be a conversation. We both like him.
All right. What if all three of these guys are here? Who do you want if all three are here?
I think we take. I'm looking. I think we take Albert O with the news and just knowing that there is this slight thing, but you could easily talk me into Irv. I don't know how many times we're going to get Irv at this pick. Where
I think
his ADP is 111.
Irv could keep falling though, man. This just happened today.
So I'm wondering if we just take TDP and see if one of these tight ends come back. Aaron Rodgers is gone.
It's your call. If you want your guy Albert O, I'm fine with it.
You know what? Let's take TDP. Who has the higher upside?
TDP.
Yeah. Like if everything breaks right, it's TDP.
Even if he gets a backfield for like a handful of games. I mean, you remember Jeff Wilson won some people their fantasy championship a couple years ago. It's just, even if just having, bullets in the form of the 49ers running backs, man, it could work for everyone. Trey Sermon, man. If somehow Trey Sermon just gets elevated, like he's going to be on the cover of every single waiver wire article, and we're just going to have to adjust real quick. Like these are the things that the Shanahan family has always done to us. And I'm fine taking a shot at in round 12. Okay.
So we kind of got our bearings on him. We
that
probably
sounds
won't get
about right.
O. We won't get Albert O now, just because down on that end you still have you have two teams without a tight end, and Albert O is sitting at the top of the tight end queue.
Damn, so
Derek Carr.
Irv might be falling like a lot. Like we were talking about it when it came out today, Dwayne. We're not really planning on adjusting our actual tight end ranks much. Now we might move Irv down a little bit in the total ranks behind, some healthier running backs, wide receivers, maybe a quarterback. But is Irv Smith gonna get back to freaking like March value? Because I like that.
Yeah, I like it as well. I could be a buyer on that. I'm like wondering, should we have taken him there? I think we still made the right choice. Like it was a tough choice, Okwabunum, Irv Smith, Tyrion Davis-Price, really like all three players. And look, there goes Jamal Williams. So no matter what, like the other things we like they weren't coming back. You just had to make your decision there. Because I had just put Jamal Williams over in the queue, and I was like, well, if he comes back, we'll take another. So, and this is a strategy, folks, especially when you start heavy at receiver early. I would like to have one more receiver by now, but still with 5 receivers that we really like. Ian, you mentioned 4 in your top 20, 4 in my top 24. And then we took ETN, took a swing on Cook, came back, got lucky, honestly, on Damian Harris, get Garrett Wilson. But now, like in these, mid to late rounds, like if you can throw darts at some of these more premium handcuff backfields, and you have several that are sitting there, especially when you have the receivers and the quarterback and the tight end already locked down. It makes it super easy just to rattle off like 3 or 4 of these. And what you're hoping for is not just for our RB2, but potentially later in the year, there could be weeks, man, where we're flexing one of these players over a receiver because they have an every down role, because injuries to running backs are a major thing. And so it's one advantage to going 0. And we didn't necessarily go 0 here. We went with,
pretty close.
1. Yeah, but 0, you'll see people push it further than what we did. But yeah, and whenever you go with that route, the benefit is you can take advantage, right, of the injuries that happen at the running back position, because we know volume really, once the season gets here and we're just in an every week race, volume's the number one thing, right? We still want the most talented players with volume, but when you're trying to fill out the bottom of your roster, like the hyper talented players are gone. You're hoping you get the right injury to the right backfield that can like send your team to the moon, especially on the build we have.
Yeah.
All right, so I got to get these guys marked off. We got who? James Robinson gone, Christian Watson gone. Another player I don't mind buying, just because he's got the injury discount. I don't mind Jamison Williams on this team. Basically, like we need a receiver that later in the season would really challenge. You know what I mean?
There goes Alberto.
There goes Alberto. And that was to a double tight end. So see, that's the thing over here. You can't try to be too cute, just the way these things go.
I would argue I think lean Joshua Palmer, because you could just say he's an injury from Keenan or Mike Williams about arguably being ranked higher than Jameson.
Yeah, I just like the talent profile of Williams more, but I like both. I've got him really.
I agree, but why not give? They haven't told us a thing about Jameson's recovery. Are we positive it's not just gonna be a redshirt year?
We don't know.
That would be extreme. That would be extreme, but we don't know.
It's a talent. It's a talent thing. So I've got Jameson Williams, Joshua Palmer, Deshaun Watson, all in the queue right now.
I threw Brian Robinson in there, but I know
why
he's
is Austin Hooper going so high?
America has a drinking problem, man.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be in a rotation, and he's always been in a rotation. I don't have a reason to believe that Austin Hooper is. Honestly, I would only take Austin Hooper in best ball.
Even then, I wouldn't feel good about it. Take Hayden Hurst.
So all these tight ends are going. We're the next pick.
Why take Austin Hooper when you can get Chigoziem Okonkwo?
So Jameson Williams is the higher pick. I'm fine going receiver here with the way this board has turned out. Backup plan could be Deshaun Watson.
But seems like based on ADP, we have a better chance of Palmer coming back to us. So
yes.
Fine.
So Jameson, he'll have to sit down there, but we'll deal with it. We'll see what happens.
What
round did Julio go this draft?
Do we get an IR spot?
10. No. But we have 20 roster spots, so it doesn't matter.
That's fair.
We have plenty. Did Devontae Parker go? Surely, with all the buzz, he had to go sooner than. I wouldn't mind a Devontae Parker share.
Dog, man. Patriots beat writers can't say a thing about it. Apparently, already
I've never seen someone catch touchdowns before in camp. So
I think one of them wrote Devontae Parker is basically exactly what they hoped they were getting in N'Keal Harry.
I just read Devontae Parker is God, but that was my interpretation of the tweets.
Pretty much same.
I think we need receivers here.
Right.
Is there a running back that you like here? I don't really want J.D. McKissick on this team.
If anyone, it'd be Brian Robinson. He's just Gibson's handcuff, basically, and he could actually,
Parker. We finally talk about Devontae Parker, and he goes.
I would still take Palmer over Robinson, and I think Watson is reasonable.
So Palmer, Watson, Robinson, anyone else you think should be in the queue right now? There goes Gerald Everett. I'm honestly good without carrying a second tight end.
Yeah, same.
And we kind of got to press our advantage with Kittle here and we can pick up a tight end later.
Yeah, I'd be fine. I wouldn't mind going after Hayden Hurst
kicker
later.
To the same guy that took the first kicker. So he now has Justin Tucker and Daniel Carlson.
I'm starting to come around to kickers now that people are just spamming them, so we can get Joshua Palmer.
Yes, we like kickers, Ian. See, we support the kicker.
Oh my God. I keep telling myself I'm going to do
Tim Patrick off the board.
About time.
With authority. With authority. I don't have to mark him off. I moved him down to 999.
Someone was like, how is Tim Patrick still available? Just probably had a long day at work. Just got off the factory job. Just trying to have a nice night. Gets Tim Patrick.
Oh, it's to the guy that's queuing his auto pick.
Well,
which
good.
He's made really good picks so far.
Until now.
He may not have seen the news today.
He was playing with fire.
That's what you get.
Let's be honest.
So Deshaun Watson. There goes Wandell Robinson moving up the boards. I did move him up, so he's at 68 now in this queue in this tier.
That's hot.
Look at this. People just think Jarvis Landry is a complete scrub. We already have Michael Thomas, so I don't really want him. He's a value.
Jarvis Landry.
I think I like Palmer's upside more. I'm with you.
Nice.
But you could talk me into Deshaun Watson here. I don't see a team without a quarterback.
I think Watson could come back around to us.
All right, Joshua Palmer. Let's get the next receiver. I'm in agreement with you.
Daniel Popper's saying from The Athletic that Joshua Palmer could just win the number 3 job from Jalen Guyton. I don't even know
It
if that's
sounds like he's gonna,
like if that happens, he could be a flex. Probably not on this team because we're loaded, but like Joshua Palmer is going outside the top 60 wide receivers. If he is running a route on 80% of Herbert's dropbacks, man, he's gonna be tough to keep out of the top 48. And if he's worth a damn, maybe he goes higher. Like maybe Gerald Everett just gets ignored. Maybe Austin Eckler becomes more of a dump down guy. I don't know. I'm saying a lot of maybes, but either way, come on. It's round 14.
There's a chance.
It's round 14. That's what it's all about.
So, Ian, have you done your defensive homework yet? Are you ready to? Do you know who we're supposed to target later as a defense?
Not yet. All I know is that we're doing it in the second to last round.
Can you pull up a schedule on your other screen because mine are full with crap?
Yeah.
Just to see the schedule and just basically whoever plays the crappiest 2 teams first. Just so we have it. Oh, a third tight end. Irv Smith, Evan Ingram, and Noah Fant. I guess if those were my tight ends, I think that's what I would do as well. I would throw those darts.
Okay, here we go. ESPN actually has a cool like schedule grid that I'm going to pull over.
Perfect.
That's my
what we need. There goes Jerick McKinnon.
All right. Week 1. All right. Ravens got the Jets and Dolphins. That's not bad. No.
Oh, man. Kenyon Drake's moving up. Already gone. Like I was looking for him. He went last round.
Carolina has Cleveland and the Giants. It's not bad. And we know they can actually rush the passer.
Okay.
Let's see. Denver has Seattle and Houston.
Who's the one that has the best offense that plays some bad teams where they're just going to be freaking pin their ears back?
Broncos versus Seahawks and Texans.
Oh my God. Yeah. That's the team.
I think
I don't even need to hear anything else. Jesus Christ.
I think that's probably it. Oh, Indy has Houston. And Jacksonville.
Boom. Both in the queue. Just throw them at the bottom so we keep an eye on them.
This is how people are getting a look behind the curtain. This is how we pick defenses.
Yeah, we definitely. Usually by now I've actually already studied it some more, so I've got like my 5, and nobody can ever like completely take them away. It's like okay, I'll just take any one of these.
It is a several hour process, but Dwayne's right about. Usually I look at the first 4 weeks, but for purposes 2 will work for now.
Yeah, I mean, if you see one that's got a great first 4 weeks, let's take them because then we don't got to drop and make. I mean, so let's prioritize them, but
yeah,
narrow it down to the ones with the best first 2 weeks, and then of those, see if some of them have 3 out of 4 or whatever.
Ooh, San Francisco at Chicago and Seattle.
San Francisco, Chicago, and Seattle.
Yeah.
Okay, definitely putting them over in the queue.
Washington has Jacksonville and Detroit, but Chase Young's out. They might just suck too. Okay. I'm going to cross them out.
So I got Denver, Indy, and San Fran over there right now.
Yeah. I would say those will be our top 3. Carolina and Baltimore, if not.
Okay. I'll throw them over there too at the very bottom.
Let me look at the week 3 matchups. Things all get a little bit loopy starting in week 3, so doesn't matter.
Okay.
Cool.
New England doesn't have anything.
I already shut it. They're out.
That's okay. Don't worry. I think actually I can't remember who their first game is.
I'm about to say
Robert Tonyan. That's actually not bad at this point. I know he's on the pup, but I mean, in a tight end premium, you get him in round 15.
But that's the thing about the pup. We might be overreact. I mean, when a guy comes,
easily.
Well, yeah, like when a guy comes off the pup list, but like Tonyan this is not a surprise he's on the pup list. So
yeah, I agree. And maybe we're double counting like what we already expected. Like that's the thing I think of.
All right, Patriots are in Miami week 1. That's always
one
of their Miami games every year goes off the wall. Miami has this one of the worst bets I ever made. Miami had, I think they were like 8. They had like 8 straight covers against the spread, like in September at home. And I was like, oh, it's going to be hot. Baltimore Ravens coming down to Miami. We'll see. Like Baltimore's going to win. Miami's going to cover. And that was when Lamar just 5 passing touchdowns, first game of his MVP season, and Baltimore wins by like 50 or something. And it's like, oh, okay. That was the same Dolphins team by the end of the year. They took home field advantage away from Brady, though. So once again, the process was right. Okay. We're not going defense until
no. We just wanted to have him over there. I just got him at the bottom. So Mecole Hardman and Pickens go here.
Damn. So are we done at running back? 1, 2, 3. 4.
I don't think we have to be. I mean, it just depends. Like I've done a terrible job of actually marking everyone off. So
you're good. All right.
Robinson.
We have 4 more skill position picks.
Yes.
I think if Watson gets to us here, we slam that.
And there he goes.
And he's gone.
With
all right, same thing with Fields.
Okay.
Right? Or do we just
I don't mind it with Fields. He's the only one I would do it with.
If we don't get Fields, we're not drafting a quarterback.
Yeah, I'm actually okay just not drafting one.
That's fine too.
But if I were to take one, it would be Fields.
I think let's see if he falls. I still like Isaiah McKenzie and Hamler and maybe even Nico more.
Yeah, I did. And no one's taken Robbie yet. The disrespect is just so massive.
What about Hayden?
Right? Is Robbie Anderson still here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got him at the top. Yeah. Okay.
Hayden Hurst maybe Hayden Hurst in round 16. I feel like I said Hayden. Hurst. I'm about to say I said Hayden Hurst like named 5 times this podcast. You just kept moving on to something else. What is it, Dwayne? You hate Joe Burrow?
Well, it's just I'm never gonna pull the trigger to put him in. Unless there's a fire with Kittle. Which look, Kittle definitely battles injuries, but I just still feel like Hurst is going to be such a freaking swing. I think you'll be able to get guys like Hayden Hurst, on the waiver wire is my thought. Whereas some of these other players we're looking at is going to be tougher.
Uzomah was a full-time player. If Hurst gets that role, you're not loving him week to week, but he's one injury to any of the top 3 wide receivers away from suddenly being a little bit more viable.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair.
Here, all right, let me draft Nick Chubb here. No, I'm not. I'm not even gonna do it. All right, who do you want?
So we are up. What are you thinking here? You like Hamler? You like McKenzie? They're from the better offenses. That's the one thing with Robbie. Like we got to deal with this, the potential quarterback issue where we don't know.
Or maybe Baker.
Or do you want to just take Justin Fields?
Baker whips his dick out and has the best revenge season ever. I lean Isaiah McKenzie.
Okay, I like it. Let's take Isaiah McKenzie, baby.
Maybe.
I wouldn't mind KJ Hamler going back if we hit on one of those.
Yeah, or Robbie. Like that's fine.
Yeah,
Robbie's still really far down there.
Yep.
Even Nico. I'm fine getting a wide receiver here. All right, so we're most likely done at quarterback.
Yeah, we got Nico there. Yeah, so if Justin Fields comes back here, I'll take him.
Yeah, that's fine. Jalen Hurts is who we want. Like Jalen Hurts is Justin Fields on an actual NFL team. Sorry, Bears fans, but like, my goodness. I want them.
Here's what I will say. We usually only draft one quarterback, but I will say, like when you're in week 6, and you're grinding all these waivers, you cut the second quarterback. Well, yeah, you can cut the second quarterback, but the other thing is like just depending, like if your team ends up being really good, sometimes like the small victory I would take when I had 2 quarterbacks was really just, oh, well, I've already got my other quarterback. I don't have to pick one up to stream them. I can just move on to my next team. So I didn't have to work waivers if the team was already really good. There goes Chris Evans.
How many redraft teams you looking at having this year, Dwayne?
I don't know, 25, 30. Jesus. It's so fun when you're drafting. Then when your eyes are bleeding on a Wednesday night,
It's like, yeah, I'll do another draft with Dwayne. That'll be a good time. We just need to have like a.
Well, having you is good because, and I do these with some other people too, but like we talk so much, we honestly won't even have to talk. Like you can go work 6 teams and I'll work 6 teams. We'll have like a 5-minute conversation and we'll just divide them and move on.
That's fine.
What I usually do on those is I just say, okay, like here are the players that are most often available that, we probably want the most. Here are the players we need to double check to make sure that they're not available. And then, from there, it's just, okay, what are we doing with bye week, stuff like that.
Hey, let's go Hamler if he's here. His ADP is absolutely going to boom.
Yep, I agree.
Like, this is just weird. We were talking about today. Like, he should be going in like the Jalen Tolbert range at a minimum at this point. You could argue if you swapped him with Tim Patrick, I mean, probably not the most sound process, but like when you look at that group of wide receivers, Patrick's going around
either.
all of a sudden he doesn't look too far away from home there. So again, I think he's better in that Jahan Dotson, Jacoby Myers, early wide receiver 60 range, but definitely right now with 70 plus wide receivers gone, I believe.
So had we gone with the wide receiver, say in Thielen, and then we turned around and came back with James Cook, we would have missed on Trey Lance, to your point, but we would have been able to pull off the strategy we talked about, which would have been taking Deshaun Watson in round 13, and we would have just taken Fields in 14.
I didn't realize Watson and Fields. I guess that's being in a, this as 12-man redraft for you, but I think in the future, getting a Fields Watson team is a borderline erotic. All right, let's go Hamler.
Especially when it works and it lets you maximize something else. You're good on Hamler, right?
Yep, let's do it.
That's who we're going. Boom, I agree. Let's knock that out.
All right. I like our wide receiver darts. We were already strong.
Yep, I agree. We just need one of those. Like, even if just one of the, if two between Garrett Wilson, Jameson Williams, Joshua Palmer, Isaiah McKenzie, KJ Hamler give us something. If any one of them turn into somebody that we think is a wide receiver 3, like, it's a huge hit. We were able to do it because once we took Etienne, James Cook, and Damian Harris enabled us to basically do whatever we wanted late, to be honest. So as much as people may be like, oh, God, Damian Harris, like when they fall and you get the value, especially on the roster we have, we were able to still come back and get Ronald Jones and Tyrion Davis-Price. But then when the other backs we really like dried up, we just were able to pivot to the receivers.
And when you look at it, Dwain, we got a very cool tool coming out soon for the people on the new PFF app, but you can kind of divide a player's weekly thought process and the stats you want to look at into like talent, his workload, his team environment, and the matchup. Yeah, strength of schedule matters a little bit before you're kind of getting into things, but we've talked about more so targeting the shootouts in the AFC West and NFC West, and Dwayne's guys have fantastic, data on just the absurd amount of 50 plus point over unders going on in those divisions. So if you can't, obviously we want all 4 of these things, but man, we're doing a good job at a minimum, just getting either really talented players in bad offenses or ideally some guys who think we might have some talent in some good offenses. I mean, Isaiah McKenzie obviously has a good chance to be Josh Allen starting slot receiver. KJ Hamler now has a good chance to be Russell Wilson starting slot receiver. Josh Palmer might as well be Justin Herbert's number 3 with the potential for more if either Keenan or Mike Williams go down. Jameson Williams, someone who was steaming towards being the potential number 1 wide receiver drafted. Think he would have had a decent chance at being that without the ACL injury. Guess what? We're loaded, so we don't even need him for the second half of the season. Take your time, Jameson. Garrett Wilson, our dynasty wide receiver 1, only going as cheap as he is because he's with Zach Wilson. Godwin, Thomas, Chase, and Lamb. Don't need to describe them all that much. Jalen Hurts, George Kittle, both 2 bona fide dogs. Travis Etienne, Damian Harris, 15 touchdowns, Dwayne. Yeah, we talked about it. He got the 15 touchdowns. I kind of mocked it on the pod today. He was still, 15 touchdowns, and I think he was the RB 18 and PPR points per game. So, no, I don't want Damon Harrison as a top 5 round pick, but round 8 or round 9 when we got him, okay, now I'm fine still having a top 20 running back at that point. James Cook with the Bills, Ronald Jones with the Chiefs, Tyrion Davis-Price with the 49ers. I like the squad, Dwayne. I like it.
I like it a lot too. Yeah. We didn't get quite the value that we got, but we did get value. Again, round 9 last time we got Drake London fell to us. This time it's Damian Harris, so I can't say we didn't get any value. We made one reach and it was with James Cook, but it was based on our build. And so I'm okay with that. We got, Jalen Hurts basically where he goes, a nice value. So yeah, I love the squad, and I love what Travis Etienne allows you to do from down on this end when you go receiver, and you get to come back with Etienne.
Absolutely.
Keep those ankles straight, Etienne.
All right, we got two more skill position picks here. How are you looking at spending them?
Well, I think Justin Fields can be in conversation. I've got Paris Campbell. I've got Robbie Anderson. Is there a running back? Benjamin just went. Hayden Hurst did go.
Dearness Johnson could get traded.
Well, and he's a talented player. So I don't mind. And look, like if something happens to one of these other backs.
He needs two things to happen, but
we're in preseason, so that's what's nice. He could be traded. There could be one injury that
there's been legit steam around a potential trade. Guess what? If he'll be the first guy we cut. If not, like, it's not that big of a deal.
I love the talent late
compared to these other running backs.
I'm not trying to honestly pecking orders this late in drafts. I just want to take the players that we think are the most talented. And then, like, look, an NFL season is chaos. So what's going to happen? Guess what? The preseason is chaos. We already saw it today. We've already lost Tim Patrick. There's just so many things, that can happen.
And there goes DeArness. So always great when that happens.
It's okay. I mean, he was at the top of that queue. So they're, like Justin Fields is just sitting at the top now. So it's like, will he make it to us? I mean, Robbie Anderson, Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, if Robbie gets to us, fine.
I threw Isaiah Pacheco over there. We do have Ronald Jones. This late, I don't mind having two backs, but, and just being like, well, okay, if Ronald Jones gets cut, we've got Pacheco. I like that. We're not necessarily we don't necessarily favor cuffing early running backs. But if you tell me that between the two, I might get a shot at having a good piece of the Kansas City backfield, I would be willing to do that.
Is it between the two, though? What if Derek Gore ends up being the guy?
Well, he could, but again, we just cut him. I mean, we're just taking swings at
I hear you.
At a position, that we need. Okay, we are on the clock. Do you want to go ahead and take Fields here? I mean, it's round 17. Yeah. Or do you want to go Robbie?
Ooh, your pick. I'm cool with either.
Let's just take Fields.
I think Robbie has a better chance of coming back to us.
Yeah. Just, look, here's the way I look at this. And again, we don't normally take the two quarterbacks, but the way it's falling this year with Watson and Fields, what other quarterback can we grab in this range that if for some reason Jalen Hurts goes down, could give us any chance at that if things go right? I think it's Fields, right? Because of the rushing. It's the same profile. If there's somebody down here that's going to be an arbitrage play on Jalen Hurts and on Trey Lance, it's Justin Fields.
And Jalen Hurts also has a week 7 bye, so could get that out of the way and then we're done with them. Or I don't know, man. I don't see Jalen Hurts getting benched or anything like that. Like he's the guy. I'm not worried about Gardner Minshew, but Justin Fields, if they really just say screw it, like quarterbacks that run as much of him, man, we could have some tough decisions. That's all I'm trying to say.
Round 17, a dual threat quarterback.
If Justin,
we wouldn't have taken any other quarterback, Ian, would we? No. There's no other quarterback we take. Now, we talked about Watson earlier, but these are the only two I would take this late when you've got a guy like we have up top.
Like if we have Justin Fields against the Texans and like he's looking good and we have Jalen Hurts in like a much tougher matchup, it's possible. And it's round 17. So the fact it's possible in round 17, the person after us is taking a freaking kicker. Yes, I'm cool with this.
The other option, it is a tight end premium. So like a player like, there goes Fuller. I meant to have him in the queue. That's okay. We've got so many receivers right now. Like I threw Trey McBride in the queue. Again, you're just getting him in the preseason. If something were to happen to Zach Ertz, like how much is Trey McBride moving up in a tight end premium?
They have Max Williams.
I know, but dude, you just give the young talent a chance. Like I don't worry. Again, I don't worry about the pecking order this late because these are easy cuts.
Yeah.
Give me the guy with the biggest upside with the talent. And now I know you're gonna be like, well, man, give me Greg Dulcich. Greg Dulcich is ahead of McBride in this queue. Like he goes ahead of him.
That's insanity.
And I would never do this except in best ball or in a tight end premium.
Over Robbie, we just have it. Do we have enough wide receivers? Basically,
that's kind of where my head is at. And Jesus, like Robbie just goes so late.
Was it something he said? Is it because he changed his name?
Maybe
people just love
when he
the
changed
why.
His name. Did like it all of a sudden screw his ADP up?
Whoa!
We've got a Trey Sermon drafter.
I wonder if you're right.
I wonder if it messed his ADP up.
I know it's messed the rankings up. It's a pain
Nobody
in the ass.
Can find him. Everybody's searching for ROBBY. Like, damn, he's gone.
I was doing some V lookups and doing my ranks, and I got NAs going on with Robbie because the name doesn't match up anymore.
V lookups. Come on, dude. You're doing X lookups. Let's be honest.
I still haven't transitioned to X. Man, I definitely peaked when I was like 21, 22. If I just kept learning this crazy shit. Who knows? I'd be in a front office right now. Instead, I'm just, talking to you, Dwayne, but it's great.
Yeah, we love it. We love where we're sitting right now. So, Ian, we can go with Pacheco, McBride, Robbie Anderson. This is our last skill position. One pick away, unless there's something else you see.
All right, let me look. But
I kind of like the McBride thing or Pacheco just with this roster, but
I think McBride is legit one injury away from zooming up boards. Pacheco.
now, whether to your point, whether or not like he really takes over, don't know. But he would definitely shoot up draft boards, and it's just a talent thing.
I do like
also get the NFC AFC West matchups.
I do like the stat that I read from JJ Zacharyson today. Let's go Pacheco. Let's go. Fuck it. Let's go.
You
Pacheco.
Want to go Pacheco? Okay, I'm fine with having Ronald Jones between the two. Like,
we got two shots at two bullets at the Kansas City touchdown leader potentially. So
yeah,
I doubt it's Pacheco, but you know what? Checks a lot of boxes.
He is rotating with the ones. Look, again, we talk about how overrated this stuff can be at this time, but I mean, it's better than not rotating with the ones. I mean, say that.
What's really the difference between Pacheco and Tyler Algier, who's going in round 11? Like,
yeah, probably not a lot. I mean, Algier has a clearer path to touches, but
is Algier the worst pick in all of fantasy right now? Like, I'm not trying to hate on the guy.
I don't think so. Just because he's managed to not get steamed, and historically, there goes Indy and Tampa Bay. So we're down to Denver. Come on, Denver, please, for God's sake, Denver, come back. But like looking at Algier, what I will say is I'm proud of the community because they haven't forced those carries to Algier just because he's there. I feel like everyone has learned their lesson over the last couple of years about just forcing carries to running backs.
I don't know, man. He just went round 11 and he could easily.
I know, but that's not nuts. I mean, look, we seen players like with his profile, people be like, oh man, round 8, round 7,
That's true. Okay. I guess we've come a long way since the Royce Freeman days. I will that.
Exactly.
That was a scary time. So yeah. And again, I've seen Tyler Algier's prospect profile and everything. It's just 5th round pick. Like there's just a chance that Damian Williams and a Zigbo, whoever the hell the other guy is, we could be talking about Tyler Algier having 20 touches by the time the year's over, or he could have 200. We'll see.
Right.
Denver. We just need to sweat out 10 picks for Denver defense to come back.
Well, here's the good news: if they don't take it at the turn, everyone else on the way back except one team has a defense. Now, people will stack them. Some people will take 2, which I never do this early in the season. Occasionally, at the last weekend of drafting, and what all the rosters and everything are, and there's a perfect setup for 2 teams right out of the gate. I'll do it, and then I cut one of them after week 1, but typically don't.
Some team drafted Pharaoh Brown and Greg Dulcich in back-to-back rounds.
Yeah, I saw it. Who are these guys?
What?
Yeah, I mean, look at Daubs is climbing up, and I moved Daubs up our ranks.
It's got an asterisk. It's got an asterisk when it's an auto pick, correct?
Yes.
So, someone hit draft.
Someone actually found them in their queue. There goes Denver.
Someone paid $350 to sit here at 9:30 on a Tuesday night and draft Pharaoh Brown. That's what you're telling me.
You have to do it.
Oh my God. Pharaoh Brown.
Oh my God.
Taysom Hill was still on the board. They took Pharaoh Brown. Dwayne, I did my.
You're so excited. You're having a blast with this.
I did my team preview series. I had to write down everyone on the depth chart. So I wrote Pharaoh Brown's name down there. I can't. I don't think I've thought of the guy in 8 months, 9 months otherwise. And someone drafted him in the 17th round, not even the 18th round.
Jesus.
Pharaoh Brown.
What about on defense? The Bengals get Pittsburgh. We don't even know who their starting quarterback is in week 1. If I'm just trying to name some other names here. Who does
they home?
Yes, it's Pittsburgh at Cincinnati. So I like that. A good offense against potentially a questionable quarterback situation.
Let's see who the Ravens.
I'm just throwing some over here because did the Bengals go? The Bengals may have just went.
Ravens are no, I think we're good.
No, Cincinnati didn't go, but I switched over here to team. Oh, my bad.
Ravens are at the Jets. Don't the Ravens have some stupid long win streak in week 1? Like they just
man, and the Jets is like Zach Wilson is.
When's the last time the Ravens lost a preseason game? Like Harbaugh just has them. I feel like the Ravens are just the same team from the preseason to the playoffs. Like, and that's both a compliment and like a damn. But
no, I'm good. Even on the road, I think we go with the Ravens over the Bengals.
Panthers are home against Jacoby
So let's take
Brissett.
the defense here, unless there's a kicker you love. Like
the Browns could just
guys
run for like
behind us have
yards.
one. All the teams behind us have a kicker except for one. One of them has 2. So we take the defense. All right. So Baltimore.
Yes.
All right. Let's go ahead and take Baltimore. And
I mean,
look, we have waivers before the season even starts. So if we change our mind on the defense and we like something else later, we can grab it for like $1.
Baltimore's finally got a healthy secondary. Like Zach Wilson could easily just shit himself like every single snap this game.
Well, there's
like,
major potential for a pick six.
Yeah, let's just say that.
Yeah.
Okay, and we'll figure it out from there. I mean, Ravens. Let me see. Let's look at the schedule. We might have them. I think we have them for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I like the 2-week thing. Less work early.
Then we got home versus the Dolphins. That's fine. Back on the road versus the Patriots, Bills, Bengals. Okay, we'll see after week 2, Baltimore. But appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Sammy Watkins, wide receiver, 83, ahead of one Romeo Dobbs.
No, he went.
Oh, he did.
Went round 17.
Oh, wow. Oh, I see.
Marvin Jones in round 19. That look, I know we're not like pounding the table for Marvin Jones. I didn't even realize he was still available.
Yeah.
Well, I do have him pretty buried in my ranks. But
wait, Robbie's still available.
Oh my God. People literally can't find his name.
It's the
ace in the hole from now on. We're saving Robbie Anderson for the last pick.
Oh my God. We're gonna get like an email from FFPC in like 2 weeks. It's come to our attention that the Robbie Anderson ADP was disrupted when he changed his name.
Yeah, we're gonna have to ask you guys. This draft doesn't count.
Oh my God.
Riots. Where did Kendrick
Bourne
Bourne go in this thing?
This was a fun draft, Dwayne. I feel really good about how our team finished up.
Yeah.
Do you want to go ahead and recap things before we get out of here? I mean, our work is done here.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot on my plate right now. I'm trying to figure out what kicker we're going to take.
No, we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah, I've got enough in the queue, I think. I'm just making sure I have. Yeah, okay. No matter what, like I have enough in there. Yeah. So start off, quick recap. Let's actually, you want to go by position, or you want to, or you want to walk through the picks and a quick like strategy debrief, like on why we built it the way we did.
Go through round 1 and what we were thinking for the picks.
Okay, yeah. So round 1 was easy. Jamar Chase just falls to you at pick 8. He normally goes at pick 6. Job done. Yes, just take them. You don't need ENI to tell you that. Then coming back, we get CeeDee Lamb. We did discuss Saquon Barkley, and we just ended up landing on Lamb. Number 1, a little harder to get Lamb to come back to you in round 2 due to his ADP. And we just love CeeDee Lamb. And we also were pretty into the fact that you're probably getting one of Connor or Etienne. Even sometimes Alvin Kamara falls. He may not fall like that anymore after the news that we've seen. So just knowing that potentially we can play, the odds of getting still an RB that we'd like as our RB1, on the build. And that happened. Travis Etienne falls back to us. James Conner goes 1 pick in front of us. And so after that, we're coming back. It is tight end premium. And in round 4, we take George Kittle. So we have a very similar build to our first 4 picks of our last draft, which we did last Monday, where we started with Jamar Chase, came back with Stephon Diggs, Travis Etienne, and then George Kittle. But things get different from there. Our build is similar, but in round 5, we get Chris Godwin. And then coming back in round 6, we get Michael Thomas. We actually discussed how do we potentially maximize. We did consider Amon-Ra St. Brown right there where we took Godwin, but we ended up going with Godwin and Thomas. So we've now got 4 wide receivers on the squad. We've got our RB1 and we've got our tight end. And so we're feeling really strong. Remember, this is a 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 2 receiver, 1 tight end premium, and then 2 flex, which can be tight end, wide receiver, running back. So we've essentially said we're right for now flexing wide receiver with Godwin and Thomas in the flex. Round 7, we come back. We do reach on James Cook, a player that normally goes at the beginning of the 9th round. We take him in the middle of the 7th. That's one that he and I definitely discussed. Like, do we just take Adam Thielen there? Because he was a value at that point. Adam Thielen was, he normally goes pick 70, I believe. And so we were at pick almost 80. Adam Thielen was 20 picks past 80.
Okay.
So we probably should have taken him just on the value alone. Then you've got the 5 receiver. At the end of the day, I don't mind the way this team turned out, though, based on the way that the way we made the build.
If we didn't get saved by Damian, we would have really been kicking ourselves.
Yeah, Damian did save us. Damian did save us. And if you think about it, if we took Thielen and then Damian also slides, but then we would have been sitting there in round 9 going, well, we wouldn't have got the quarterback. That's what it would have cost us, right? So going back in round 8, by taking James Cook in round 7, our conversation was, if we take Thielen, we're going to be in a bind. And not that you have to fill your starting lineup out first. Don't take it that way, folks. Like, it may have been a mistake for us to pass Adam Thielen there. But by starting our team the way we did, we really wanted to only have one weakness. We wanted it to be RB2. So coming back, we wanted Jalen Hurts. So the conversation was, well, if we take Thielen, coming back, we've got to take a running back. We got to let Hurts go. There's a chance Trey Lance comes back to us in round 9, but he didn't. And it did push Damian Harris. So Damian Harris, ultimately, that we do take the value there on Harris. He falls a round and a half past his ADP typically here. And honestly, Ian, Damian Harris is not a name we talk about a lot on podcasts, but I think it's really important, like, to have the flexibility. We took the value with Damian Harris, and look at our draft, dude. It gave us a ton of flexibility. If we didn't get Damian Harris there, he's a starting. You can start him as your RB2.
I was just looking at this. Damian Pierce went before him, so yes. I think we got the last starting running back. Like,
we did
out of anyone,
and it gave us the flexibility coming back in round 10. We could go ahead and pluck off one of the young receivers that went early in round 1 this year with Garrett Wilson. And guess what? After we take that, Rondale Moore comes off, Jahan Dotson comes off, Jalen Tolbert, a 3rd round pick, because people think he's a starter, goes off the board. So I like it because it gave us the flexibility to get Wilson. So we got fortunate with Damian Harris falling back. And sometimes you got to get a little lucky in these, but then we come back with Ronald Jones and Tyrion Davis-Price in round 11 and 12. Again, we started off wide receiver heavy. We've got a good quarterback. We've got, the 3 running backs, but just having 2 more rounds, honestly, is what we wanted to have there with Jones and with Tyrion Davis-Price, both in quality offenses. Yeah. And then once that was done, we would have been open to Jamal Williams in round 13, but he goes before it comes back to us. We make the choice to go with Jamison Williams. Yes, he could be missing for the first part of the season, but with the 5 receivers we have in front of him, it's kind of a situation where when you look at it, what can give you the most upside? What receiver are you taking here that could actually force their way into your lineup if everything is perfect? So Jamison Williams potentially gives you that, so we get Garrett Wilson and Jamison Williams, 2 first-round wide receivers this year. And then we just hammered the receivers, Ian. Joshua Palmer, you mentioned, filled in both roles last year. So he's basically a handcuff to Mike Williams and a handcuff to Keenan Allen. But he also just automatically plays on a good offense with a really good quarterback that's going to be in shootouts. So, I mean, if you got to use him, there's a chance we can use Palmer, and he could just overperform anyway. Then we took a couple of guys that have been rising up draft boards based on the news in the first 2 weeks or week and a half of camp.
Still pretty good prices, though. I mean, Isaiah McKenzie and KJ Hamler still outside of the top
15 and
70.
16.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the big news on Hamler today, we've got, Tim Patrick is out for the season with an ACL tear. So my bet is KJ Hamler rises to probably be more of a round 14, 13 pick. We get him in round 16 here. Isaiah McKenzie, you talked about it earlier. There's the thought that, look, they're putting more on him. He could have a chance. Now, Jamison Crowder hasn't been practicing, so this could change a little. But right now, like an explosive player, high pass volume offense, I'm good with grabbing Bills. Picks round 17, we do come back with Justin Fields. I know you, and if you want to talk about this one, Ian, we talk all the time about you only take 1 quarterback in redraft. What I will say is when you get down here and you've taken a Jalen Hurts, a Trey Lance, any of the guys we talk about, Kyler Murray, you don't have to do this. But my thought is we've already said we can be as strong as we can everywhere. And Justin Fields is the only guy that was available. Deshaun Watson was gone. that I would even be willing to draft because he has the dual threat rushing upside.
And
Meaning,
we were already
you're not going to take Tua there, is my point,
Yeah.
right? He's not going to replace Jalen. You're just going to get a guy off the wire. But Fields actually, right, could replace. There's a chance he could replace Fields if we had to have him do it.
Yep. And again, after Fields, we draw a line, and from there, like,
It's round 17.
Please, for the love of God, don't have any plans on starting a quarterback after Justin Fields. The only guy that I see that went after Justin Fields that I'm like, damn, I wish he was on our team instead, is Will Fuller. But you know, we already had 9 wide receivers. Like, there just wasn't any more room for Will Fuller. Robbie Anderson finally did go in round 20, one spot before our kicker pick, Dwayne. So it was just a roster construction thing, and that's fine. Will Fuller, it was a good pick by that squad, but I mean, no, Justin Fields, man, I'm perfectly fine with him. And round 17.
Yeah. And then when we'll talk about the kicker and the defense, we just threw a dart at Pacheco. We've already got Ronald Jones. There's just enough uncertainty with Jones that why not? We're not really big on handcuffing your running backs, but when you can get them in round 18 and they get to play for the Chiefs, there are worse things. CEH hasn't really lived up, to expectations. Ronald Jones hasn't really lived up to expectations either as an early second round pick, back to his days with the Bucs. So Pacheco's fine. So the ultimate, what we have here is we've got 6 running backs on the squad. We've got 2 quarterbacks. We did only go with 1 tight end and George Kittle. So we'll have to work the wire. If Kittle goes down, he is injury prone. That could be a potential weekness for this team. But at the end of the day, we're taking we're screwed anyway if George Kittle goes down. It's going to be really hard to replace him. And guess what? Something's going to happen at tight end. Like, there will be something. There's something that we'll be able to try to grab off the wire because we're drafting these teams so early. When you draft them later, a lot of times tight end is very, very, very thin on the wire over here. But we're drafting early enough. Some injuries will shake some things up, so we'll be able to do something later there. And then how many receivers? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Great podcasting. 9 wide receivers on the squad. So yeah, I like the build. Looking back, had we gone Thielen and still come back, like, we wouldn't have been ballsy enough to just take Jalen Hurts there. We would have went ahead and taken probably James Cook, in round 8. Then we probably still get round 9 Damian Harris. But we would miss on the quarterbacks. We would not have Jalen Hurts. We would not have Trey Lance. But what you and I discussed at the time, the pivot would have been, we would have just taken Deshaun Watson in round 13.
Yeah.
And we would have taken Justin Fields in round 14.
After seeing how late that pair went, I'm very excited to try to make that happen in a future draft. Absolutely.
I agree.
I went through the other teams, and I got to give, hey, Thin Mints Riot. We're talking about the number 1 squad right here, joining myself. Number 2, though, I would give to Get Fucked, Fukt, for
he's our week 1 matchup.
Well, he's got a nice squad. He went Justin Jefferson round 1, got Javonte in round 2, basically did his own little modified 0 RB. After that, he got Michael Pittman, Cortland Sutton, and Terry McLaurin. Came back.
Got a value on Sutton and McLaurin there.
Yeah.
Those are both slightly past ADP. He passed Jalen Waddle also in round 5, which was also a value that was available.
Got Kyler Murray in round 6, Elijah Mitchell, 2 guys
that value.
That Dwayne and I were talking about. If they got back to us, we'd probably be taking. Well, he went ahead and solved that for us. Dawson Knox, Albert O in rounds 8 and 13. I think that's a great combo, both at a reasonable enough value. Ayuk, MVS, rounds 9 and 10. It's fine because he got Darrell Henderson and Jamal Williams. This is a good example of not forcing the running backs, because again, we talk about different ranges of running backs we like to attack. And instead of, reaching on, maybe Damian Pierce or Isaiah Spiller there, he was patient and he got Ayuk and MVS with Henderson and Williams coming back. Brian Robinson, Zamir White, Deshaun Watson, Paris Campbell, even a round 20 Kendrick Bourne to complement the Cleveland defense, and Brandon McManus. So solid squad from Get Fucked, of course. And then also we have 11 personnel who, despite their Pharaoh Brown selection in round 17, I did like pretty much everything else. The McCaffrey Kamara start, followed by Mike Evans, Allen Robinson, Brandon Cooks, Hunter Renfrow, and Christian Kirk. Did get Stevenson, but round 8, RB 35. It's not the worst pick.
That's the only thing to nitpick. You don't got to reach for Stevenson there, but he clearly had a plan after having the 2 backs, and that's the guy that he identified. So, we did it with James Cook. He did it with Ramondre. Like, you just give it respect. I think it's fine. You could make the same argument against our team with James Cook.
Yeah. Got Tom Brady there, the stack with Mike Evans. Got our boy Rondale, Jalen Tolbert, Christian Watson. Yeah, I didn't love the second, last 7 or so picks, but when we're talking about these picks in the teens anyway, there's obviously a lot of risk that goes on.
I'm fine with Watson, just because, he's just sliding because the pup. And where he got him, he's not going to need him until later, and he can end up just cutting the guy.
Dwayne, what happens to your lights, man?
It's just getting dark here.
Oh, shit. I look down. There we go.
We go wire to wire here at PFF. Been in this offense since 6 a.m.
Freaking Tuesdays. Well, I think it is now about time to conclude all of this. Dwayne, we talked for almost 5 hours today. I think time to go see the old family if they still give a shit about us. Why not? So,
great day to be great, though, Ian.
Great day to be great. As always, I hope you post this on Twitter. You all can check out the full draft board there again. And as always, YouTube, we have been streaming this whole time. So if you want to go back, see Dwayne and I's cheat sheet, just, see the draft board and all that is available to you there. Thank you guys as always for tuning in. We're going to be back with many more of these. Hope you enjoy them. And yeah, let's go win some championships this year. Why the hell not? For Dwayne, I'm Ian. Thanks so much for tuning in to PFF Fantasy Football Podcast. Until next time, take care.